Welcome to MSG PM, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Your app is ready, Emperor. My name is Kazim Famiwide, and right now you are checking out the New York Rangers taking on the New Jersey Devils, in which they shut out the Devils behind Igor Shesterkin's shutout performance. We're about 3 weeks away from the pucks dropping in the NHL, so we're going to talk all about that. But before we do that, you know what time it is. I got to bring in my tag team partner, the one and only Jeff Eisenband. Jeff, Igor Shesterkin had a great season, but he had some long shot odds at that Vezina trophy this year. Talk to me about that season outlook for him.
Yeah, long shot, plus 2,500, but there's a lot of juice there to me, Kaz. I mean, he played his first full season last year, played just 35 games in that first full season, 2.62 goals against. That was 19th in the NHL, 0.916 save percentage. That was 12th in the NHL. So those are, you could make the argument they're pretty middle of the road for a starting goaltender performances last year. But like I mentioned, first full season. Okay, now he's coming in. The COVID, situation has changed. It's more of your mainstream season, and maybe that's where Igor Shesterkin is going to feel comfortable and take off and become a superstar in this league.
He's got some big skates to fill as the goalie for the Blue Shirts. So, he had a great season. Hopefully, after getting ingratiated into the culture, he could follow it up with another great season. But like you said, 3 weeks away until the pucks drop and the money lines are out already. Producers, full screen me real quick and let's talk about it. The New York Rangers will take on the Washington Capitals and are plus 115 underdogs against them. Check out the puck line, check out the totals, the over-unders. What stands out the most to you here, Jeff?
Well, first of all, let me say this is Alexander Ovechkin's 17th NHL season. So that in itself is just crazy. It feels like we've been talking about Rangers caps for so long. It's been so even for so long. And how even was it? Well, last year, the Rangers were 4-4 straight up against the Capitals. And I think that becomes important because you see that goal differential and you could see the minus 230 already with the Rangers getting a goal and a half. That's because this is going to be such an even game. So I'm looking right at the money line is where I would start with. The Rangers have opened the season in the last 5 years. They've been 2-3. So it's been pretty even, between these two teams and just how the Rangers play in the opening week. So I think those money line odds are good for the Rangers. I also would take the over. The Caps averaged 3.36 goals per game last season and the Rangers 3.14.
Jeff, the pucks drop for the NHL season on October 12th with a huge game between the defending champion Tampa Bay and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, full screen me real quick, producers, and let's talk about that game and see what we can take here. You got the Penguins looking like some 140-point dogs against the Tampa Bay Lightning. No surprise there. Obviously, you got another over-under with 6 points total. Jeff, what here is a sure bet?
Well, I just mentioned, I got to shout it out again because I mentioned Alexander Ovechkin, also Sidney Crosby, his 17th season, and it's been a while since him and the Penguins were able to get past the Lightning. They actually haven't beaten the Lightning, and this is because they didn't play last year. Since January 30th, 2019, Tampa Bay has obviously been the best team in the league the last couple of years, winning the last 2 Stanley Cups. I think the best bet here is the under. Even though both these teams were high scoring last year, the Penguins averaged 3.45 goals per game, which was second in the NHL. Tampa 3.21. The Lightning allowed a stingy 2.59 goals against last year. A lot of that is because of the play of Andrei Vasilevsky. I would just take the Lightning. The way that they've retooled, they might even be getting better right now, Kaz. They went 16-7 in the postseason. I take Tampa across the board and take the under here.
The thought of the Tampa Bay Lightning getting better after last season should be a scary thought for the rest of the NHL. So we talked about the Blue Shirts, we talked about the Tampa Bay Lightning, and now we got to get and release the Kraken. Let's talk about the last 2 expansion teams for the NHL to see how the Kraken and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. The Kraken, 210-point underdogs against the Golden Knights. You see the puck line, you see the over-under. Jeff, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that money line there, the Kraken at plus 210. I'm a little surprised that the NHL didn't open the Kraken at home, that they sent him to Vegas. Although I do love this matchup between the last 2 expansion teams. I just think the Kraken, the way that everything's been set up, the way the expansion draft was set up, maybe the Kraken aren't going to be at that point that the Golden Knights were at a couple of years ago, where the Golden Knights were able to make the Stanley Cup final in their first season. I've been saying take the long shot bets on the Kraken because the books, they just won't be favorable to a team that hasn't played an NHL game, and none of these players have necessarily played together. But in terms of this, I don't think people quite realize how great the Vegas Golden Knights were last year. 3.39 goals per game they scored. That was third in the NHL. 2.18 goals against. That was first in the NHL. Yes, they lose Marc-Andre Fleury. It's going to be Robin Lehner's team. You can take that how it is. But I think the Vegas Golden Knights do get the job done here on opening night against the Seattle Kraken. I just, if you're a Seattle Kraken fan, or you want to be a Seattle Kraken fan, you're wondering, well, who are the guys? You're relying on Jordan Eberle, Yanni Gourde, and former New York Ranger Colin Blackwell, who's going to have to perform even higher than he did offensively this year for this team. It's going to be fun to watch the Kraken, but I would take the Golden Knights on opening night and the under.
You know, you said if there's any Seattle Kraken fans out there, give them some time. They're just getting started. There will be plenty, especially as the season goes along. But we're going to send the rest of the tri-state area back to the rink to check out the rest of this Rangers versus Devils game. That is my man Jeff Eisenman. I'm Kazim Famiude, and this has been MSG PM presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Your app is ready, Emperor. Enjoy the game, folks.